Rugby World Rankings, folks, for the 21st of August 2023. How are the teams ranked as we are a few weeks out from the Rugby World Cup? We've still got one round of fixtures to go in terms of the warm-up games. How might those results affect the world rankings? We'll go through them pretty quick, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on how fairly or not you think the teams are ranked at the moment. Ireland beat England pretty handily, 29 points to 10. Keith Earl's 100th game, scored a nice try from the bench. But no points for Ireland. They are too far ahead of England, especially because they were at home. If they'd been away, they would have taken some points. But at home, Ireland got nada from that game in terms of world rankings. New Zealand didn't play, so still in second. They have got South Africa on the cards this weekend coming. And speaking of South Africa, they are there in third. They've overtaken the French. Number 3 ranked team in the world. South Africa took a little bit of pointage away from Wales with their 52-16 win. Some people were saying, how is it that South Africa can take points from Wales, seeing as the gap between the two sides was more than 10 points? But remember, the home side gets scored at +3, so instead of being on, what were they on? They were on 78.66. That would have been +3, so into the 80s. 81.66 would have been what they would have been scored at. So, yes, it was possible for South Africa to take pointage from Wales, and they duly did, up into third. France, despite their win over Fiji, 34-17, didn't take any points because of the gap. 78, 89, that's already 10 points, and then you add 3 to France's score for being at home. So France got nothing from that one points-wise. Scotland are kind of in this weird middle spot where they're not good enough to take any spots from the teams above them with one result, but they can't drop with one result either. They're just there in the middle on their own. It's kind of a little weird spot for the Scots to be in, but there you go. No game for them, so no changes. England lost, no points lost. Argentina, no game. Australia, no game, although there was a bit of fireworks with Eddie Jones's press conference as they departed Australia. And then Fiji with that loss, no loss in points. So that is the left side of the board. Wales did drop some points, as I mentioned, with that loss to the Boks, 78.26. Not too far ahead of the Georgians now, who are on 76.23. No game. No, they did play a game, did the Georgians. They beat the USA, but they didn't take any points off them because the gap is, pretty substantial between those sides at the minute. Samoa beat the Barbars. That's a non-test game, so no points taken, but 28-14, another good prep game for the Samoans. Italy hammered Romania. Gap's too big. Romania's down to 19th on 64.56. So, with Italy being at home, no points taken, but they scored a lot of points in the game. If you didn't see it, it was 57-7. Bunch of tries to the Italian backs. Japan, no game, no change. Tonga beat Canada 36-12, but no points taken. Portugal there in 16th. Uruguay 17th. They beat an Argentinian 15 and then a non-test match, and then USA 18th. So that's the way the teams line up. It's kind of an interesting one when you just look. I think I might have mentioned it last week. Those top 4 teams, there's only 2 points between fourth, 2 and a bit points between fourth and first. So not a heck of a lot. That's kind of like one win for them and one loss for them away from changing places. Whereas there's a pretty big gap between Scotland and everybody else. And then there's a cluster of 81, 80, 79, 78, 78. So, it's maybe a little bit of a healthy spot in terms of a lot of the teams being close to each other. Like Georgia's not too far from Wales. Wales and Fiji and Australia and Argentina, England are all much of a muchness. But there does seem to be a gap between, the top 4, top 5 at the minute. Anyway, like Wales, England didn't really impress in their results despite having some changes to the lineups and whatnot. But we will see how things go, man. Never know in a World Cup, I suppose. Fixtures this coming weekend. New Zealand can go number 1 in the world if they beat South Africa by 16 points or more, I believe. They can go number 1 in the world. That would be a big win at Twickenham, neutral venue. But yes, if I'm correct, New Zealand can take number 1 spot from the Irish. South Africa can take number 2 if they beat New Zealand by any margin. So that's one to watch out for. Argentina can't take any points when they play Spain because the gap is too much. England can take some points from Fiji, but surely not enough to catch Scotland. And Fiji can pass England if they manage to get an away win. Scotland aren't going to take any points when they play Georgia if they win, but they'll certainly lose some if they lose. Italy can take points in their game off Japan, but not enough to pass Samoa. The gap is still a little bit too large. Japan, though, can pass Italy if they get a win in the other direction, basically. Ireland taking on Samoa. They're not going to take any points if they win. And then Australia and France. France can't take any points off the Aussies, but the Aussies could bounce back into, I think, 6th if they were to get a win. So, yeah, a bunch of games on this weekend, folks, but not for a few days yet. If you're looking for something to do between now and then, why don't you check out me going across the 3rd longest river in the world? I was in China and across the Yangtze River. She's a big old river, that one. We don't have any rivers quite like that here in NZ. But yes, you guys let us know your thoughts on the world rankings. How fairly or not do you reckon they look? We've got one more week of these warm-up games. Fingers crossed there are no major injury concerns from those games. There's still a number of squads to be confirmed from their teams. And yes, I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.